coming up on Retirement Solutions Television.
When somebody comes in, the very first thing they're going to do is they're going to walk in. We're going to take their all their statements. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to ask some questions. Very first thing that we're going to do is find out your story, Steve. It's really important to understand because your coworker may be completely different from you, from what you want to do, how you want to do it throughout retirement.
So I think there's a couple of good tips here that you can look at. If money stresses you out, it may not be a good idea to be your own retirement advisor.
Most people spend quite a bit of money when they want to retire. It's completely natural for them to be able to want to relax, go on vacation, spend time together, golf, whatever the case may be, and utilize some of their funds in retirement as it relates to travel.
And now your hosts of Retirement Solutions Television, the Retirement Brothers, Tyson and Ryan Thacker.
Welcome to Retirement Solutions Television. We've got a great show for you today, and it starts right here, right now.
Hi, and welcome to AskBossRetirement.com, where you send in your questions to us, and we answer them here on the show. How are we doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
All right, Tyson, my first question is for you. It's Steve from Salt Lake, and he writes, Tyson, my coworker and I were talking about his recent retirement, and he mentioned that he had converted his 401k to a tax-free strategy. Is that a good idea?
Thanks for your question first, Steve. We appreciate you going to our website, AskBossRetirement.com. We love answering these questions. You know, it really depends. This is one of those scenarios where we need to look at the entire perspective. Now, obviously, at its face, it always seems that tax-free income is going to be the best. And there's a few strategies that can be used there, but you have to be careful not to fall into just, hey, this is what my buddy did, and so that's what I need to do too. And so when somebody comes in, the very first thing they're going to do is they're going to walk in. We're going to take their all their statements. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to ask some questions. Very first thing that we're going to do is find out your story, Steve. It's really important to understand because your coworker may be completely different from you, from what you want to do, how you want to do it throughout retirement. And so as we do that, we're going to customize an approach. And obviously, in most cases, we're going to want to try to get a tax-free approach, but it depends on how long, Steve, until you retire as well. So there's some questions that really need to be asked and answered before we can give a better scenario there.
Sure, and sometimes for a lot of us, because we're not in financial services, we sort of hear what we want to hear.
That's right.
You know, and so it's important to get that checked out because just because this particular strategy worked for your coworker, that doesn't necessarily mean, and don't get your hopes all up, that that's what is for me.
Correct. And let me give you an actual example here. Not too long ago, we had a potential client walk through the door and ask kind of the same question, but they said it more specifically. They said, I really want to have a Roth IRA. I want to be able to convert all my money from a 401k to a Roth IRA. That's one way that you can have some tax-free income. Because they had heard, in this case, their neighbor talk to them about that. And so as we did the analysis, Steve, what happened was we looked at every piece of the equation, and for them, it would have cost them a lot more money to try to convert it, paying the taxes up front versus trying to get growth down the road. They never caught up. And so again, it's really important to customize each scenario to each individual. Thanks again, Steve.
Thanks. And Tyson, my next question is from Donald and Sandy, and he writes, taxes seem to continue to go up. How can I avoid paying too much in taxes when I retire? Yet another tax
Another
question.
tax question. You know, this is on a lot of people's minds because taxes have been going up. It seems like no matter what happens, the government keeps asking for more. So it's a normal question. We want to do as much as we can to mitigate those taxes. You know, one of the things that's really important for each person to check as they look at their retirement plan is to be able to go and ask their employer, do you have a Roth 401k option? If you've got a Roth 401k option, that's going to be the number one thing that I would tell somebody to do to be able to avoid taxation as they get down the road, because what's going to happen, as an example, the difference between a traditional 401k and a Roth 401k is a traditional, you don't pay any taxes, you get the write-off that same year, it's all tax deferred, and then when you get to retirement, you're going to pay taxes on all of that. With a Roth 401k, it works a little bit differently. You pay the taxes in the year that you set the money aside, but then it grows tax deferred and you never have to pay taxes on it again. That can be a great strategy that I would recommend everybody check out.
And you know, we've talked about this in other shows where a lot of folks out there think, hey, my CPA or the person who prepared my taxes, this is what they did. They told me, Tyson, this is all that can be done. When in fact, there are possibilities where more can be done to mitigate taxes.
Absolutely. You know, if you're younger, there's some great strategies. We call it the Roth for the ultra wealthy that you can use as a vehicle. And again, you have to be the right age and the right circumstance, but there can be an option for you to treat this a lot like a Roth and never pay taxes on it down the road. And so there are some different ideas that you have. And what we'd really recommend for all of you is to come in, have your own situation looked at, because then we can help make sure we're mitigating as much taxes for you.
Tyson, thanks so much. If you'd like to have your question answered here on the show, it's super simple. Just go to askbossretirement.com, send in your question, and I hope we have a chance to answer it here. Thanks so much. Stick around. We got a lot of great stuff to come. You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Life, a series of moments. A touch, a look, a laugh. Successful people. It might not be superior imagination. It just might be superior retirement planning. Imagine what's next. Plan today, own tomorrow.
Call Boss Retirement Solutions, 801-610-1234.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you will be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who is specialized in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated to getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you will receive a free complimentary planning review. There is no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you will receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce liability and increase cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Today we want to ask the question, do you need your own retirement advisor? That's what a lot of people talk about. They say, look, I've got a 401k, I've got an IRA, I like to kind of manage it myself, and do I really need an advisor? What's the value add? What's going to really make a difference, not only now, but through retirement, right?
This reminds me of a test that we just took recently.
The Kolbe test.
It's called the Kolbe test. What it's designed to do is it's designed to measure your strengths. Not focusing on your weaknesses, but designed to measure your strength. We really like this test. In fact, we use it all the time with our team members.
When we hire new team members.
We want to be able to put our team members in a position that makes them shine and do what they're very, very good at. Well, it does measure some things, and it says, avoid the stresses of doing certain things if that's not a strength for you. And so we took this test, and I thought of this recently. Both Tyson and I, Tyson, you're doing some work on your basement. I'm doing an upstairs remodel on our house. And Tyson and I both got the same score in this certain area. Here's what the score was. It says, avoid the stress of using power tools.
Now,
So-
what's funny about that is that early in our career, we owned a company where we stained cabins. That's how we worked our way through BYU.
We used some power tools in that,
So we
in that
did
company.
we did use some power tools, but what do we always say to our wives? We say, honey, I can't pick up a power tool. The Colby test told us we shouldn't be doing that.
So how does this apply to you if you have certain things that you're not good at? I mean, think about this for a moment. If you spent the last 20, 25, 35, 40 years or beyond focusing on what you do very, very well. Let's say you're an engineer. Let's say that you're a CPA. Let's say that you're a computer programmer. You know that inside and out because you've spent a decade, a lifetime working on that. But what you may not be as good at is all of a sudden you finish there, you get to the end of your career, and all of a sudden you're supposed to be a retirement planning expert.
How much time have you actually had the chance to spend? You may have spent 40, 50 years even working in your field of expertise, but you've never been trained, whether it's elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever it could be, to really focus on what you need to do to make sure that your money lasts as long as you do.
So I think there's a couple of good tips here that you can look at. If money stresses you out, it may not be a good idea to be your own retirement advisor. The advantage of having somebody that can look at it with a different set of eyes, be unemotional about it, is a very, very good thing for you as you get ready for retirement, because that can be the difference of having you be forced to watch the market when it goes up and down every single day and knowing that someone's created a plan and a strategy for you to help you with that.
Well, here's another reason that makes sense to have an advisor. Let's say that you really love trading in the stock market. There's quite a few of you that do. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of times what we will do is we'll say, here's some money that you can set aside, you can trade however you want, just have some fun with it. But what makes the other spouse feel a lot better is that they know that no matter what happens, that money's set aside for that piece, but not for the entire retirement. And
I
that
can just hear all the spouses cheering right now, right? Instead of gambling our whole retirement account away by you day trading in the stock market, let's have someone else come in and have some advice and some planning that goes along with that, because it's still okay to trade, maybe just not the entire portion of the portfolio.
Because why do you want to have a job that continues on into retirement? Think about that. You want to be able to sleep in if you want, be able to go visit the kids and the grandkids if you want, instead of looking at the market every day. In fact, I have a recent client that after we created the Boss Retirement Blueprint for him and his wife, he came in just a few weeks after that and said, Ryan, he said, you know what? I used to wake up every morning at 7:30 and then I would watch the market all day long. For the last 2 weeks, I haven't done that.
Wow.
And what a difference that's made in our marriage, in our family life, that you can't put a price tag on.
And I'm thinking of another family who came in. She's director in a human resource department, in charge of all the benefits, the 401ks, the healthcare plans, all of the disability programs and everything like that. And she thought she knew a lot about all the different aspects when it comes to money because she had spent her entire career being inside of the human resource department. As we laid out their blueprint and gave them their own customized plan, her comment that when we got everything wrapped up together was, this is impossible to do by yourself. I mean, I thought I knew a lot, but now
Right.
with taxes and risk and how we take Social
And the
Security
constantly changing
and
landscape,
Medicare,
right? For
She
all those
wanted
topics.
someone that was in it every single day
Yeah.
to be able to help guide her and give her advice. And I think that's something that you just pause and think about for a moment. If you're in that situation, maybe you make some adjustments. What we'd invite you to do is simply pause and say, do I need a retirement advisor? Do I need to change a strategy? Do I need to have a second opinion? We would invite you to visit our website at askbossretirement.com or come in and have a conversation with us at the office. We'd love to customize a Boss Retirement Blueprint specifically for you so that you can go to and through retirement with confidence.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. AskBossRetirement.com.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet someone for the first time. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you'll be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free complimentary planning review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, and a customized income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help you manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
I'd like to share a recent example from a client that met with me in our Salt Lake office. As I met with this individual, he and his wife talked to me specifically about something that was very important to them. They were really focused first on making sure that they had enough money to be able to travel the world. In fact, she worked at a job where she had a lot of travel benefits. So early in their career, or early in their retirement, they wanted to utilize those benefits and travel the world, being able to take some of their kids and grandkids along with them. The second piece that was really intriguing to them, as they said, we've heard from some of our friends and family as they've gotten closer to the end of their life that they spend less money as they age because they're not traveling as much. Is that true? And so as we talked through their particular scenario, I felt like this was instructive for you to understand as well. So first, absolutely, most people spend quite a bit of money when they want to retire. It's completely natural for them to be able to want to relax, go on vacation, spend time together, golf, whatever the case may be, and utilize some of their funds in retirement as it relates to travel. Now, the other piece of the equation as you age becomes an interesting part to talk about. So with them, in their particular situation, they had $7,000 a month that they wanted to utilize in retirement and be able to have enough throughout their retirement years. Now, one piece that you need to understand is when we talk about so we utilize that for the income bucket, then we wanted to talk through the inflation bucket with them. We said, look, you need to understand that the average rate of inflation is 3.28% over the last 100 years. So that's what we're going to use over your retirement years to be able to continue to have enough to live off of, to be able to continue with the lifestyle that you've grown accustomed to. So as we got to 75, 80 years old, after they had been in retirement for quite some time, their budget literally doubled. In other words, over a 20-year time period, if you've got a $7,000 budget, your budget's going to double to $14,000. And I showed that to them. And they brought this same question back up and said, well, are we going to spend a lot more in our retirement years as we get closer to the end of our life? And I said, it all depends on what you do with that money, but let me give you a scenario. Let's say that you do stop traveling as much and you stay closer to home. That's a pretty normal scenario. In fact, from the clients that I see that are in retirement, they have, between the ages of 75 and 80, a large propensity to slow down, to really stop traveling as much as they used to. But what does take its place in most cases is medical care. I just recently opened a health insurance plan from a client of ours, and their health insurance had gone year over year an increase in 18% in additional premium for that health insurance. So much more than that 3.28% that we've been talking about for the average rate of inflation. As a result, when we had the remainder of this conversation, he decided that he needed to continue on with that inflation as we had recommended, because even though travel was going to decrease, his health insurance was going to continue to increase. And he wanted to make sure that he was taken care of as well as his spouse was taken care of. So if you've got questions like these or others that relate to the Boss Retirement Blueprint and your situation, please join us at the website or come in and let's start a conversation together.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street